morning, everyone, and welcome to the Wonders podcast for today's special conversation. Every once in a while, we get to hear the stories about the successful entrepreneurs, professionals, and educators. But sometimes we have this opportunity of meeting these individuals who have beautifully combined their journey along with all these roles and also making sure that they follow the family values and the nation values. Today we have with us Ms. Aparna Anand, who is a chartered financial analyst who has over more than 2 decades of experience in investment, management, education and mentorship. From building a startup to mentoring the students through ICAI, also shaping the minds of young Indians through the platform Forces, she has always shown her journey of courage and conviction. She is a mother, traveler, entrepreneur, avid reader, and along with all this, and someone who believes in the young minds being more active towards the nation and their values. Let us welcome her today and try to understand about her journey, get to know more about her personally. Let's get to reflect on her journey and see how she reached the heights that she is in today. Welcome to the podcast, ma'am.
Thank you, Mahima. Thank you so much for having me here.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all good. How are you?
I am good, ma'am. So before we begin with the questions, can you just give a little reflection on your life?
All right. I am born and brought up in Lucknow, and after completing my graduation from Lucknow University, at the age of 19, I moved to Hyderabad to pursue my professional journey. And there I completed my CFA, and I joined a foreign institutional investor as an investment analyst, and very soon, within a few years, I was assistant portfolio manager, and then I became the fund manager, managing director and India head for the India operations. And in between, at a personal level also, I got married. I had twins. And this was more of a corporate life, and in between entrepreneurship idea clicked, and we ventured into a couple of things, and then we started with our own investment consulting firm.
Okay.
And in 2016, because of the personal reasons, basically my in-laws are from Haldwani, so we wanted to moved to Haldwani to be with them because they were not ready to relocate to Hyderabad.
Story of every home.
Yeah, so they were very comfortable in Haldwani, their hometown. They didn't want to move to Hyderabad, so we thought since we wanted to be with them, to take care of them, so we moved to Haldwani, and now it's exactly 10 years that I'm in Haldwani.
Wow. Okay.
And I met some wonderful people, and then I shifted my focus. In addition to investment consulting, I am into education. I am faculty with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, where I mentor chartered accountants, and I go to various management institutions and other colleges to mentor and to help students there. So this has been mostly, I think I talked more about my professional journey. When you said talk about your life, I think this is what happens. When you're a professional, you identify your life as a professional.
That's correct. And that is quite a journey that you have been in. Since you mentioned that you have done CFA, that's a very common kind of a confusion for students nowadays. In fact, I am not that clear with the concept as well. How would you define the difference between a CA and a CFA for a 15-year-old?
Okay, CA and CFA, CA is chartered accountancy, and CFA is chartered financial analyst. These two are very different courses. Where CA is more focused on your auditing, accountancy and taxation.
Okay.
CFA is more into analysis. So you can also say where the work of CA is like it's over.
It ends.
It ends. The work of CFA starts basically. So whatever the financial reports are prepared by those chartered accountants, CFA, they analyze those reports, and not just those reports. Definitely, there is a big gamut of I would say areas which are given more focus in CFA course. Basically, investments, fund management. It includes your equities, your debt, derivatives. So it is more about investments.
Okay, it has a wider.
It's a wider role.
Version.
One difference I would say at the institutions level, CA is government backed course.
Okay.
So it has a government back. CFA is market recognized one. So market recognizes it to be a very good course and a very highly paid one. So that is the difference between CA and CFA. I'm not saying that CAs cannot do CFA's work.
Okay. Is it somewhere comparable in the levels of difficulty?
Both are difficult. And you have to put in right kind of hard work to be able to complete those. So you can't say that this is easy or that is difficult, because their focus area is different.
Correct. Understood that. I hope it made a lot clearer for our viewers also to understand the basic difference. Now, having said that, since you've been so educated about the financial terms and how to handle all these things, what would be one financial advice or a financial commitment you would say that before becoming a teenager, a student should have in their life? One little piece of advice.
Okay, while giving this advice for your students, I would also give advice to their parents also.
All right.
That start giving them a pocket money.
Okay.
However small, whatever amount you think is fine, you should start giving them a pocket money as early as they understand the numbers. Once they start understanding the concept of money and numbers, start giving them pocket money. It could be as low as 50 rupees, 100 rupees, depending on their age, depending on a lot of factors. So for your students, I would say, once you get your pocket money, start managing your own finances. So of course there would be things which your parents would be taking care of, but when you have your own money, whatever it is, if it is 100 rupees or 500 rupees, make sure that you put some part of that into saving. So this is one practice. Suppose if you are getting 100 rupees of pocket money and 10 rupees you are saving every month, that should be a habit, because once you make that a habit and once you are a earning person, that habit will be with you and that will make you financially sound, and it will help you in your wealth creation.
That's correct. In fact, when I was a kid, even my parents told me how savings is something which is important, and I would say that shaped my future in a way that it is today. I am more stable financially. I understand finances more correctly. So I really hope this is one piece of advice that would be helpful. Now, having said that, what lessons did you learn when you were a student that have been with you even today?
Okay, the lesson that I have learned which are still with me, I think there are two things which I used to practice as a student, and I practice that even today, is focus. Correct. If you want to do something, stay focused and put in right amount of efforts. Give your best. So staying focused and staying on that path, that is what is very important. So whatever you are doing, that I still practice. So I'm that way I'm very disciplined.
That
even
is
today.
Absolutely right. You need to be focused when you do something. It will eventually come out.
And the discipline would come automatically. If you don't lose focus, that discipline will come automatically. So
Correct.
that focus and discipline, then all the other things like your hard work, the kind of meeting the right kind of people, getting the right kind of resources, it will automatically follow if you are focused.
That's absolutely right, I would say. Having said that, there are a lot of people in your young age who give you a lot of advices. Like you're doing it today,
Yeah.
sometimes I do it with my students.
Right.
But is there something which maybe somebody must have advised you at some point of time and you did not follow that? And maybe somewhere you now realize that you could have done it. Is there something like that?
That's really a catchy question. But yes, there is one advice which most of the people, my family members and the people who cared about me, they advised me at my young age and even later, not just a young age, and I didn't follow that, and I regret that that I didn't follow it. It was eat well, don't skip
Okay.
your meals, and I was very careless about it. For if I'm studying, I would skip my breakfast, I would skip my lunch. So till the time you are at home, your all those things are being taken care of by your parents.
Correct.
But when you are on your own,
You become
no one is going
independent.
to remind you that you have to eat. So that's something I would say. So following your passion should not turn into going crazy about it, and take care of your health also. Eat well and don't
A balance,
skip your,
I would say.
Yes.
Correct.
So I learned that much later.
All right, great. So many young people see professionals at their destination. Let's also try to understand this journey behind the success that you're at today. You spent nearly 18 years in corporate, and you also had a really engaging life in all those 18 years. How would you describe that phase of your life if you want to summarize it in a sentence or maybe even an explanation?
Instead of using a sentence, probably I can give you a few words
Okay.
to describe that phase of my life. I would say happiness, good fortune, and satisfaction or contentment. So I'll
Wow.
explain.
Okay.
Happiness, because I was happy to make my own dream fulfill, and I made my parents proud. Fortunate, because I was really fortunate to get a very good work culture, the organization I was working for. I met with some of the best, I had some of the best team members. I had very nice reporting authorities. My bosses were very nice, they were very encouraging and always focused on your professional development. So it wasn't like that, just give me this work.
Okay.
They wanted you to develop yourself professionally. I got very good industry exposure at a very early age, and satisfaction in terms of money,
Correct.
exposure, everything. So in a nutshell, I would say I was very fortunate to have got all these at a very early age. I didn't mention that at 21, at the age of 21, I completed my CFA. So it was
Wow.
like one of the
That's
youngest
great.
CFAs in India at that point of time. And I started my career at a very early stage. So getting all that exposure and the right kind of work environment was very crucial for me to build on those skills which comes with which comes naturally with the kind of maturity you attain with age.
Correct.
So the right kind of work environment and all those things, it was one of the wonderful phase, I would say. Growth, exposure, learning, knowledge, professional identity, all those things.
You had a really good experience in
I
that
had a really
case,
good
right?
experience, yes.
You mentioned that you were fortunate to have really good bosses or the reporting authorities.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a myth or maybe just a thought around the young people nowadays that the corporates are toxic. Your bosses can be toxic. Anybody who is at the top of you can be toxic. How much would you agree with that thought?
Yes, there are places, there are situations because and I came across a research
Okay.
some time back that says when people leave job, they don't leave it because of their profiles or the kind of money they're getting, but they leave the job because of the bosses. And I would say it is pretty true to a certain extent, because your boss ensures whether he or she is trying to extract just the work out of you, and that, or whether that person is focused on your overall well-being. When I say overall well-being, that you are adding value to yourself also. You are developing your personality, you are developing your professional knowledge. It's not that you become stagnant.
Correct.
So there are people who focus only on numbers. They don't care. They don't care about your professional well-being. And then there are people who are really good. And I would say, because from the very beginning, I got some very good bosses. So I learned that leadership style, that people management from them. So I myself became very people. I mean, I was a people person. Even the junior most employee in my company, I always welcomed them. They could come to me, they could talk to me. So this gets reflected. So there are toxic people, and there are some really good people. So it's your luck, I would say. And you have to be strong enough to be able to maybe ensure that your mental health and your physical well-being is not affected
by all
yes,
these things.
right.
Correct. So I believe the very important thing that we discussed in the beginning, that stay focused. Because by staying focused, you will be able to actually understand how the world works. Even if there are some toxic traits, some kind of toxic people around you, stay focused in what you do, just do your best, and you will anyway succeed. So ma'am, as you mentioned that while you were in Hyderabad, you also had a startup. Can you give us a brief introduction or a brief explanation about what that startup was?
Okay, that startup idea came to us. It was in 2007 when startups was a very the whole idea and the concepts were at a very nascent stage in India.
Correct.
Flipkart had just launched. Amazon was also just a few years old. In fact, Amazon India was not even in India. Amazon was it was Amazon.com. So I'm very passionate about reading books.
Okay.
And even my husband loves reading, but he reads more about India and Indian Armed Forces. So we came up with this idea, because buying books and then ensuring that you get enough space to store those is a little difficult task, and we were already getting things online. So we were that our generation, we were learning that shift from going and buying things offline to online things. So we thought, why not start an online library where the physical books will be delivered to you.
Okay.
You can click through a click. You can just order, I want this book. You're a part of that library. You are a member of that library. Something like you are a member of British Library, but you have to go to the library.
Correct.
And then you will. So here we started that you can just order that book online. We'll get it delivered to you, or once you finish reading it, we'll get it picked up. So that was the startup, and we initially started with Hyderabad, and then it was pan India.
Wow.
And it picked up really well. We got a lot of traction, a lot of media coverage without having spent even a single penny on advertising. But then 2008, towards the end of 2008, this global recession happened.
Yes.
And we continued. So whatever funding we were expecting, that didn't happen.
Okay.
Around 2011, beginning of 2011, then we closed it down. But it was a brilliant experience, a lot of learning.
That was such an inspiring journey that you had. I'm pretty sure there were serious parts, but also in journeys like this, there are really funny parts that also happen. So were there any funny incidents that happened during your startup?
Yes, there were a couple of funny incidents. I'll mention one which was which became a bit which became really funny.
Okay.
Since it was a library of books, and the book fair happened in Hyderabad. That was around the same time, I think, beginning of 2008. In January, generally book fairs happens. So the book fair, we thought that we should also have our own stall there, because
Okay.
we had corporate tie-ups, but getting the retail book lovers, it was the best place to be in, because all the book lovers would walk in. So we had a stall there, and during this startup journey, my husband, he left his job, but I continued with my job.
Okay.
I didn't leave my job. So it was a kind of combined family financial decision that one would
Nice.
continue with the job and the other person, because we did it through bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is when you put in your money for the startup,
Okay.
without any angel funding or PE funding. So I was working, and I was the managing director at
All right.
and the fund manager at this place. So it was Saturday, and I thought, okay, I'll go. So when I went there around afternoon, I asked my support staff that you go and have lunch. I'll address the queries of the people who are coming. So
Okay.
I sat on the counter, and I was addressing the queries. And at my workplace, my boss knew, of course, some of my colleagues knew, but not everyone. So one of the employee, he came with his wife. And he was kind of shocked seeing me sitting on the stall counter and answering the query, and he wanted to introduce his wife to me, and he was like all confused. He said, you are sitting here? So that was really funny. I said yes, and I took his wife's query. She was into reading
Okay.
as a customer, and he was very embarrassed. He was really embarrassed that he was not immediate junior. He was
Okay.
much junior to me. So that was something really funny happened. So, but I really enjoyed that moment.
Correct. Because as you remember all the important and the serious part of your journeys, I think these little funny parts of the journey is what keeps you
Yes.
going.
Right.
It keeps you in that thing.
Right.
Totally.
Right.
That's a great experience. Having said that, any corporate or entrepreneurship experience or a lesson that you learned during this phase?
Yes, not just one.
Lot.
We had a lot of learning, and we ensured that that was implemented when we started with our investment consulting firm. One thing, how you can differentiate a corporate job from entrepreneurship is that in corporate job, if there are some problems, you can escalate. You can
Correct.
escalate.
Yes.
You can say, oh, this is the problem, and then HR should do this, or boss,
Yes.
you get this thing done and make sure that these things are fixed. But in entrepreneurship, you cannot escalate. You can delegate, but you cannot take away that responsibility from your own side, because you have to be responsible for the job of the support staff to the CEO. So you have
Correct.
to be able to fit in all the roles. That is the difference. And I think the other major learning is that you should be able to identify what are your strengths and what are your shortfalls. So you should see if there is a kind of mismatch, and their shortfalls or whatever the problems or hassles are, if they are much bigger that you won't be able to address those, then putting a full stop to that, that's a big decision, because when you are so passionate about
Yes.
your venture, you want to just keep going on.
Yes.
So
Correct.
putting a full stop is a difficult decision, but you must know when to put a full stop.
Correct. So you did mention about passion, and since you're also entrepreneur and an investment manager, I would just like to understand that the young population of the country is nowadays actually understanding the term startup, and they are going into this trend. But one thing that I observe is that a lot of times these individuals, they leave their jobs to follow their passion. So, how do you think you can differentiate your funds and your finances, that financial net to create, along with following your passion? How will you differentiate it for our viewers?
It's a very interesting and very important question for the youngsters, I would say, because as you said, the startup and entrepreneurship, it's something which is caught up,
Yes.
the fancy of the youth. And just a few months back, I took a workshop, 2 days workshop in one of the management institutes in Haldwani itself, on entrepreneurship, from idea to execution.
Okay.
So I told them this very same thing. Don't go for a startup just for the sake of it, that okay, everyone is starting a startup. I also want to be a founder. I want to start something. And with Shark Tank,
Yes.
it's inspiring. I would say it's inspiring. But sometimes what I've seen with many startups that are failing, there are some execution related issues and there are some mismatch between the passion and the execution.
Yes.
So they need to understand whether it's a authentic and original idea,
Correct.
whether it is solving some problem, or you are just copying, and since you are doing it under peer pressure, or you have just taken a fancy of it, you are doing it because of that. So if you're doing because of that, it is bound to fail. Let me be very blunt. So you leaving a job is also okay, but again, it depends on which phase of life you are. If you have your own financial commitments, if you have financial responsibilities, then just leaving the job and starting with something without having a kind of backup
Yes.
will put you in stress. Because whenever you hear about the success stories, you only see that glossy part of it, only the result and how the founders, they made so much of money, they are having such a good life, they are covered by media, but you don't see the kind of struggle and hard work,
The journey.
the journey
they followed.
So you have to have that I would say attitude, that you are ready to put in that kind of efforts, and you are both mentally and financially prepared for that.
Correct.
You
Right.
can't go back to your parents, and you can't go back to people that okay, give me more money. I mean, we have seen so many startups failing. The Byju's is like one of the biggest example, after getting so much of funding, after
Yes.
being like one of the best one. So we have seen how it ended.
Yes.
So you have to have that knack to understand the finances of your startup.
That's actually a really informative answer that we had. So, behind every successful entrepreneur, there is often a support system. Having said that, ma'am, how was your journey throughout this time when you were working, when you were an entrepreneur, and even today? How did you and your husband manage your family responsibilities along with that?
All right. Maybe I'll start from the beginning. So, I think having come from the similar professional background, he was a banker and I was a fund manager. We knew each other's professional commitments, and we were very conscious of each other's dreams, aspirations. So we were very supportive, and even before we had kids, it wasn't like you have that set of expectations as a husband, or you have that set of expectations as a wife. It was more like we were friends living together. So and then we had our twins,
Okay.
a daughter and a son. We were blessed with them. During that time, definitely our family, like my parents and his parents, till our kids turned 2, they used to come in turn, say for 2 months, for 3 months. They used to come from their hometowns to Hyderabad, and they would stay with us to supervise all the nannies that I had kept for my kids. That was a big support system, and at the same time, I would say I was very fortunate to have a very supportive team and supportive bosses at workplace. So when work from home was not even a concept, I worked from home.
Okay.
I used to work from home then, and I had very good juniors. I had got a very good, my personal assistant was very efficient girl, and my bosses were very nice, and that's how I think we managed. And Gaurav always took equal responsibility of taking care of
That is
kids
actually amazing.
and
Yes.
managing household responsibilities. So that's how I think we I would say we enjoyed the whole phase along with the
Correct.
challenges.
That's the
Yes.
reason today it doesn't look like a burden. If you
Yes.
look back at it, it was
Right.
always smooth and
Right.
nice. You had really good family support then, I would
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women, the working women nowadays, they have this, they do not have this balance between guilt and this work balance. How would you want to portray that? How would you want to give a supporting statement for the working women today?
This guilt thing that you mentioned, I would say this is bound to happen.
Okay.
Howsoever balance you make, whenever you see a stay-at-home lady who's taking care of her child, and when you know that you have to leave your kids for a certain duration, you will always have that guilt somehow or the other creeping up. But I want to tell them, your kids get inspired by you, seeing you as an empowered person. You are more empowered, you are more independent, and since you are more independent, since being a working professional, you have to be more disciplined because you want to maintain that balance, taking care of your household responsibilities and ensuring that your professional work also is done in the best possible manner. So once you have that discipline, they learn from it. Your children become very independent at an early age, which is very, very important for their life in future. So try to tell yourself you are doing the best and you are doing the best for your children, not only giving them the right kind of upbringing, but also preparing them for their future. So that will help you
Right.
come out of that guilt.
The balance. Actually,
And
the
create a
now,
balance.
yes.
There will be a little bit of rush here and there, but
Right.
that can be managed. That can be managed.
Correct.
Again, if you have a good support at work, if you have a good support at home, then it becomes much easier for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you also did mention about your kids. You have twins, a son and a daughter. What are your most rewarding moments around them as a mother?
I would say becoming a mother in itself is the most rewarding thing. So you can't specify this moment or that moment.
Okay.
Because every new thing, every gesture that they make, that makes you feel so good about being a mother. Yes, in the teenage there will be a different kind of challenges, but later when you think about that also, you laugh at it. You laugh at it with them. You sit with them and you talk about that and you laugh at it. So I think the whole journey is so rewarding. It will be very difficult for me to
define a moment.
Define at that particular moment was most rewarding.
Correct. All right, that's great. You've also been mentioning a lot about Hyderabad. So I believe you've spent almost 18 years in Hyderabad.
Yes.
So you came back to Haldwani. That is quite a big transformation. If somebody changes places, we say that they come to that place with the scope or with the thought of a new life now.
Right.
So how was that journey of the transformation of coming from Hyderabad to Haldwani? How did you like being in Haldwani with family, and how would you explain that?
All right. As I mentioned, it's been 10 years in Haldwani. Yes, it was a very big decision.
Yes.
Definitely not an easy one, because I left my job because I was to move to Haldwani, and the place, because when you live in a place and when you grow in a place,
Yes.
see, when I talk about, suppose, Lucknow, that was my hometown. I did my schooling and I grew up till 19 years I was there, and then I moved to Hyderabad, and Hyderabad was a different growth altogether. It defined me as a professional, it defined me
Yes.
as a person,
Right.
as an adult.
During your growing years, you were in the
Yes,
city,
yes.
right?
So leaving all that and then coming to Haldwani, which was it wasn't an easy decision, but
Yes.
we did take that decision because we prioritize. I always had this, that when I said focused, if you remember.
Yes.
So keep your focus clear. I prioritize that right now. My priority is to be with the family.
Correct.
And we knew that we needed to be here because, as I said, my in-laws were not comfortable moving to Hyderabad. So that's why we decided. And having reached a certain position, since I was leaving my corporate or professional life at the peak,
Correct.
was very, I would say, satisfying. And
Okay.
when we came here, initial few months, I would say, were a little difficult, because not because I had any unrealistic expectations from the place. I was looking forward to a more peaceful life, which was pretty much there.
Yes.
And I love
Definitely.
Haldwani. I really love Haldwani. But what I was missing was a kind of my own friend circle, professional connections, which wasn't there. But I met some wonderful people here and made friends. And the best part of Haldwani, I would say, it brought all those passions back which I could not pursue when I was in the corporate world in Hyderabad. So I got engaged in all other things. In Hyderabad, I was able to spend very less time to my passion of educating underprivileged students. There on Saturdays, as a volunteer, I used to go to a couple of schools. So here I was able to spend more time on that. I was able to spend more time on my poetry. I was able to spend more time on the dance, music, and all the multiple things, adventure. So we used to travel a lot in Hyderabad. I wouldn't say the traveling was more there.
Okay.
But yes, so I made friends. It was initially difficult, just because of these things, that I didn't have the friends of my own. But it was very satisfying, because there we used to miss all those family get-togethers, the functions,
The
family
function,
functions. So we got to become part of all those things. So there is always a give and take. So you lose something to gain something else. It has been a very enriching journey, even in Haldwani.
That is good to know.
Yeah.
I'm from Haldwani. I've been born and brought up here. So I understand that moving to a different city where you've not been born and brought up is difficult, but I believe you've managed it really well. So you and your husband were together when you did the startup and every other thing that you do together. So who would you say is more excited about taking risks, you or your husband?
All right. See, most of the time, my husband is more risk taker, and I'm a more risk averse person. So I take more calculated risk, and majority of the time he's the idea generator, and I'm very good at execution. So that way we make a good team.
That's great. And who is more stricter at home, you or your husband?
As a parent, probably if you ask my children, I'm the one who's more strict and put more discipline.
Okay.
That this should be the routine, this should be the schedule. So I would say I'm more strict.
And if not in terms of as a parent?
Then I think we do fine. Then we do fine. So I mean, we could go for any fun activity without having a proper plan or something. So there's no, I would say all this strictness comes mostly when it comes to any kind of work.
Okay.
Or parenting.
Parenting. Right. And your kids, they come to you for financial advice or to your husband?
Oh, okay.
Since you're both from the same background.
Right. So, interestingly, both of them are pursuing careers which is not into finance.
Okay.
And they have been managing their own pocket money, as I suggested to all the other parents, on their own. And when they have some financial crisis, they definitely go to their dad, because he wouldn't ask them more questions. He would help them out. But it's a kind of family things.
Okay.
So it's not that you have to go to only Papa, you can't go to Mom, because they know that we have very open communication.
Okay. So, that is absolutely amazing. As a family, as a parent, it's the best thing, I think.
They have been told this, and we do practice that. Don't assume that you will tell me something that I did this mistake and then Papa wouldn't know, and you tell something to Papa and then Mama doesn't know. So that doesn't happen. So we four of us, we keep that open communication.
That is great. Yeah. All right. Ma'am, since you are an avid reader, any one of the books, or maybe any book that you would like to suggest for our viewers?
It's a very difficult question.
I know, because everybody has different...
No, not for that, because you said for our listeners. So I'm assuming that they would be varied age group.
Yes.
So suggesting one book which is suitable for all the age groups is little difficult, but I would recommend The Little Prince.
Okay.
So even if a child reads it, it applies to them. If you read it, a person of your age group or a person of my age group, everyone will find some unique lessons, unique message. It's a kind of philosophical book in a fiction form, and it's a very thin one, very easy to read. It's not a big thick novel where you'll say, oh, I can't read. So this is a book which would apply to all age groups.
The Little Prince.
The Little Prince.
All right. So yes, the book which ma'am suggested, The Little Prince, I believe it is also important for the people who do not have the habit of reading.
Yeah.
This is how you can inculcate the habit of reading, by starting with the thin book and the book with less content, but you will at least have a bigger message.
Yeah.
So The Little Prince. All right. And since I had mentioned that if somebody doesn't have a habit of reading, how would you suggest them to inculcate this habit?
I think you answered it yourself. So start with short stories, start with thin books, and most importantly, start with the genre which interests you. And if you have some people around you who also read books, so it is always encouraging.
Okay.
Because when you tell that I'm reading this, the other person tells you I'm reading this, then you get more encouraged that okay, I want to read that one also. So this kind of keeps you inspired, motivated. This is how you can inculcate reading habit, and you have to have that discipline.
Yes, correct.
Less of phone, more of books.
Correct. And you definitely must have some favorite author, I'm sure. So if I would tell you that you have a chance to have dinner with any author, be it living or dead, who would that be?
Again, this is a difficult question because I read extensively across genres. So picking up one author would be difficult, but maybe I can talk about two authors.
Okay.
I have read Swami Vivekananda's work extensively, and not dinner of course with him, but if at all I could get a chance to meet Swami Vivekananda in some metaverse, so probably I would have a lot of questions to ask him. But the one living author I wouldn't mind having dinner with, and I would rather love having, I have a lot of questions for him also, is William Dalrymple. He's a historian. I've read his work extensively, and history is something that interests me a lot. So historical fictions or actual history related facts. So his research is very strong. So I would like to have a dinner with him
with him.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah, he's alive, so probably
Okay.
I may get a chance.
All right. And since you mentioned about history, so I am also aware that you shape young minds towards the development of the nation. Not exactly history, but the development of the nation. You have a platform by the name Forces. So can you explain a little bit about that particular platform?
All right. So, Forces, me and my husband, we started this journey in 2006. So, when my kids they were born in 2006 only.
Okay.
So, it was, we have this common interest area. We both have we love to wear our patriotism on our sleeves.
Okay, wow.
I come from the family of freedom fighters.
Okay.
So I have that, and he is naturally, he is very patriotic in nature. So we always talked about these soldiers of Indian Armed Forces and how they selflessly give up their all to ensure that we all are safe. So we started this journey by visiting some of the martyrs' families, some of the Gallantry Award recipients, soldiers, and other soldiers also, just to say thank you, just to show our gratitude for whatever they do for us. So this journey started in 2006, and we traveled across India to meet these people. And currently there are 3 living Paramveer Chakra award recipients, and we have met all 3 of them. We have met most of the Gallantry Award recipients, martyrs' families, and few of them they have become family friends. And so we thought that this learning that we were getting from them, from their families, we wanted to pass it on to the younger generation, because we thought if not us, who would tell them? Because with the advent of internet, too much of information is available, and people were drifting away a lot towards the Western culture, right? So we started this, and initially just 4 of us, me, my husband and my kids. Then we started adding more members who were again in the same, they had the same interest. And the Forces, though it started with this passing on the learning from them to the younger generation, it is basically an acronym. It doesn't have to be anything, it doesn't have anything to do with Indian Armed Forces. Forces, F stands for first one to take responsibilities,
first one.
are cohesive, equal and selfless. So ethos of soldier of an Indian Armed Forces.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so it's an acronym, Forces.
That's actually a very great initiative. As you told the details, it's inspiring that you're doing this for the young.
And we have around 300 plus.
Wow.
We started with Little and Young Indian. Now it's mostly young and adult Indians who are part of it, professionals also. So not just, we talk about Indian soldiers, we talk about our culture, history, we talk about whatever is important to make them a good nationalist.
Correct.
So economics, geopolitics, whatever we feel that they should know these things. Science, everything. So we cover a very elaborate kind of subject areas.
Okay. All right. Great. So ma'am, with every young Indian listening to this podcast, what would be one message that you would give them to remember?
I would say I am quoting this phrase: there's nothing more rewarding to live and to die for your country, knowing that you have given your best. So whatever field you are in, whichever domain you go to, just do your work with full honesty, and knowing that your small actions are going to become big in some way or adding to the national growth, that I think that satisfaction you should have. You'll find a lot of people who are dishonest, who are making quick money with wrong ways, but don't get inspired from them.
Correct.
There are right people, and once again, your consciousness should let you sleep every night with that feeling that I have done my bit in the right manner. So whether you are a chartered accountant, whether you are a doctor, whether you are an engineer, you should remember that whatever you are doing, it is somehow or the other building, it is contributing in national building.
Yes.
So that is one of the main message to all the youngsters.
That is a really good message. It's an inspiring message. Even I'll remember this bit of the podcast for sure. Now, since you're also a travel and an adventurous person, just some quick questions.
Okay.
What would you like to visit the most? Mountains, beaches, or historical sites?
I love all three of these places. Probably when I'm more contemplative mood, I would love to go to mountains, but when I want to more chill out, the beaches and historical places, as I mentioned, I love history. So anytime, I would love to go to those places.
Understood. And what's the most adventurous thing you have ever done?
Okay, after I've done kayaking, I've done paragliding, I've done river rafting. I think river rafting was most adventurous.
Okay.
And we did one all India trip by car from Hyderabad till Leh Ladakh.
Okay.
So some pockets of it, just me, my husband and my 4-year-old twins.
Okay.
They turned 4 during that trip only. So some pockets were really adventurous where we felt that we're going to die. So that
All right.
that trip was also pretty adventurous.
Great. And one destination still on your bucket list?
Northeast.
Okay.
Northeast. Yeah.
Correct. And do you like meticulously plan trips or you go with the flow?
See, if it's a long trip like we did this all India trip, it was a meticulously planned one.
Okay.
But we have many quick ones, like suddenly we'll decide, okay, today is Friday, so let's go for this weekend, let's go to Coorg, let's go to this place, let's go to Sri Salem or wherever. So we will suddenly, without any planning,
just go with the flow.
That is like.
So since you travel a lot, some people like me or somebody from our viewers, we love to travel, but there's not a good budget that we have. So how would you suggest to plan a trip, or what kind of places do you think can be covered in the budget of under, let's say, 15,000?
I think there are plenty of places, and in today's time you would find go to some untouched place, or maybe you can go to even Rishikesh. Suppose you love adventure or you even love the quiet, go to Rishikesh. You have these camps, you have these travelers hostels, so you can get decent cheap accommodation there, and then you can go for all those activities there. So depending on the kind of travel you want to get into, so you can find these days it has become much more easier compared to our time.
Okay.
There are so many. You just have to know, you have internet, just find out.
Yes.
You'll find
so we do not have to stop ourselves
No.
from traveling if
No.
there's a low budget. We can still travel if we love to.
Yes.
I think that's how we'll explore how to manage the finances as well that we were talking about initially in the podcast. All right, ma'am. And just a little section where there are no right answers. It's just no performance reviews, just quick fun insights.
So should I assume that you would be reviewing my performance in the previous answers? Because I thought that was not a test. It was just a normal conversation.
Just no performance reviews generally, I believe.
Right.
Not from us, from the other people.
From
as
viewers,
well. Maybe,
all right.
yes. So just a quick round, books or movies?
Books anytime.
Okay.
And even the movies which are made on books, first read the book and then watch movie.
All right. Morning person or a night owl?
Mostly morning person.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
And investing or spending?
Wow, now this is a tricky one and asking a lady. See, you have to have a balance.
Correct.
You should enjoy spending, but make sure that you are investing right.
Okay. Finance or teaching?
Wow,
Again,
now this is the most difficult one. I would say both, and that is why I am continuing with both. Investment consulting firm and mentoring.
Okay, great. Reading or traveling?
Reading while traveling also, so I can club it and I do that.
Okay. Window seat or aisle seat?
Now I'll seat. Previously it used to be window seat, but now I'll seat.
Aisle seat. All right. You're also a dancer, so dancing or poetry?
Oh, poetry comes suddenly from nowhere. You don't plan or you don't sit. And dancing is always a stress buster. Never stop dancing.
All right. Suitcase packed a week before or at the last moment?
When it's a planned trip, a week before.
Okay.
I'm very, I'm a kind of perfectionist. So.
Okay, all right. Last, one habit that changed your life.
This one got me thinking. Probably since you said it's a rapid one, I'm not coming up with a rapid answer. But I think waking up early in the morning,
Okay.
when I started it at the very early age as a student, I think that changed me a lot, connecting with the nature and having more time to yourself.
Correct.
So that's I would say is one habit, yes.
All right, ma'am. It was really nice to know about your journey, how you started with the startup, how you went into mentoring the young students, the young Indians, the youth, getting aware about how it is important for them to be aware about the nation, to be more focused on the nation as well. Thank you so much for being with us today. Anything at last you would tell or you would like to say to our viewers? And that's it from my side, ma'am, for today.
Thank you so much, Mahima, for having me here. I think I already spoke everything, whatever you wanted to know from me. Just one thing that I would want to end my discussion is, I think, keep that little Krishna in, which is your consciousness basically.
Okay.
I call it little Krishna because I tell this to students also. Because when Arjun was confused, it was Sri Krishna who guided him that this is the right thing. So you may have confusion in life, which is bound to happen. Always remember, listen to that Krishna, that is your consciousness, and you will get the right answer.
That is a great advice. Thank you again, ma'am, and that's all for today.
Thank you, Mahima.